People are actually probably going to be getting up. Our morning newscast will be on the air right here on WHS 11. The rain will be moving in.
It will be, and we could have some rumbles of thunder at some point during the morning hours, but I do not expect any severe weather tomorrow morning. It's going to be a different story, though, about 24 hours from now.
So tomorrow afternoon, you want us to be alert as we go through the hours, and then you're bringing in strong winds after that.
Correct, and it's going to be fairly gusty tomorrow regardless. So here's a look at the top three things that you need to know. That morning rain, which is not going to be severe. Our afternoon is actually going to be fairly quiet, so I don't think we'll see much in the way of rain outside of maybe an isolated shower, but that's going to be very important with that dry time because if we see any sunshine, that's going to increase the amount of storm fuel that these nighttime storms could feed off of, and that's also when we have our greatest risk for some severe weather. So I'll show you how much potential fuel these storms will have to work with in just a moment. First, what are our main weather threats? Well, strong winds are the highest threat. I think overall, this is primarily a damaging wind threat of a severe weather system, but we're also going to have some pockets of heavy rain. The tornado risk is low, but not zero. And of course, we could also have some localized areas of flooding, but I do not expect a widespread flash flooding risk. Here's a look at Futurecast and we'll time this out. First, we'll see that rain moving in tomorrow morning before sunrise. Should be relatively widespread in coverage, but as we head into the late morning hours and maybe into the early afternoon, we could have some heavier downpours and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. But again, none of that is expected to be severe. Now here we head into the mid to late afternoon hours when we're going to be relatively dry, but we could have some sunshine. That's going to be very important because it could destabilize the atmosphere and allow for those fuel reserves of sort to build up, which these later storms after sunset tomorrow night would have a chance to use as fuel and could be on the strong side. This is going to be the main line back here late tomorrow night, and as that pushes through, that's when we have that greatest chance of seeing those high wind gusts, those possibly damaging wind gusts, and maybe even an isolated brief spin-up tornado along that leading edge. After that line pushes through, I think we'll be done with all of this rain by around 1 a.m. We'll have a clear sky to start off our Saturday, but some high gusty winds, clouds move back in, and maybe even a few showers or some drizzle in the late afternoon. But how much storm fuel could we see? Well, that's really going to depend. Notice how the greatest amount is going to be off to the west of I-65, which is also where the greatest severe weather risk is. And along the I-65 corridor, it kind of hits a wall and decreases quite a bit. Notice by 11:30 when that line I showed you is starting to push in, we're seeing a lot of that fuel beginning to diminish, but overnight, maybe seeing some remnant fuel to the southwest. So some of our southern counties might have the greatest chance of seeing some of those stronger thunderstorms heading into early Saturday morning, but by 4 a.m. all of this storm activity is going to be out of here. Thankfully, Sunday is going to be quiet for us and sunny. Temperatures will be climbing back to around 60 degrees, 72 on Monday, feeling pretty nice. We should also stay mostly dry. Monday's been trending drier, but then we got to pay attention to next Tuesday and Wednesday in particular. Temperatures are going to be well above normal, near 80 degrees, but it's also going to come with another chance for some thunderstorms and yes, another possibility for severe weather. That's what we'll be paying attention to after tomorrow night.